Good evening, how's it going? This is another episode of Genre Files, which was supposed to be done on Monday, and I completely forgot about it, and so I'm doing it today on Thursday, and it's almost midnight, so if I don't get this done in about 6 minutes, you're going to hear my clock strike 12, and that's going to drive you all crazy. Sorry. So the movie that I've chosen is The List of Adrian Messenger, which is a film directed by John Huston in 1963. Never saw this before, although I remember the title. And I picked this up just a few days ago at Big Lots for $3. And I thought, since it was described on the back as being a suspense thriller, I thought that's perfect for what we're doing this week, which is supposed to be suspense thriller. So let me give you the bare bones of the plot here. I'm going to try to get this done before the clock strikes. All right. George C. Scott, who plays a character named Anthony Gethron. He's an ex-military man, British military man. This is an English film. Takes place in Britain. He's a retired officer, must uncover the identity of a mass murderer who is killing off the potential heirs to a family fortune. The only clues are the names on the list of murdered heir Adrian Messenger, played by an actor named John Merivale. The tension builds as the final evil unfolds during a suspense-filled fox hunt. Let the chase begin. And that's all I'm going to tell you. Now, let me take issue with their description, because after watching this film, which was a great fun to watch mystery with a lot of great actors in it, it didn't have that much suspense, and I would not call it thrilling unless you happen to find a fox hunt to be thrilling. There are a couple of fox hunts in the film, and that is the climax of the film. It all happens during a fox hunt. But most of it's just kind of endless discussions, just like a lot of detective stories are, where people are just talking to different people and trying to get clues, and you find all these very strange characters. There are a couple of very good kills in the film. For those of you who get into the quality of kills, and especially the last one, which comes at the end of the film, it's a doozy. It's a very good idea for killing somebody, but I'm not going to give it away for you. Okay, so George C. Scott stars in the film. We have actors like Clive Brook, Donna Winter, who is very well known for having been in the Invasion of the Body Snatchers in 1956. We have a young man who is billed as Walter Anthony Houston, who happens to be John Huston's 12-year-old son. We also have Gladys Cooper. Great to see her. A small part, but she's very funny. She always plays upper-class characters, at least in every movie I've seen her in. In this one, she plays an upper-class lady who is very drunk and very funny. So it's great to see her doing that. Herbert Marshall is in it. Herbert Marshall is a great actor who goes all the way back to the silent era. He had the good fortune in his career to play Betty Davis's husband twice in films in which it was not exactly a good thing to be Betty Davis's husband. One was The Letter in 1940, and the next was The Little Foxes in 1941. Great actor. Also a French actor named Jacques Roux, R-O-U-X, I guess that's the way it's pronounced, who plays a character named Raoul Laborgue. This is an actor I wasn't familiar with, except that his face looked familiar, and he gives a very good performance. But George C. Scott is at the center of it all. What's interesting about this movie is you also have Kirk Douglas, who plays a very important part in the film, and he wears a series of disguises in the film. And also you have Robert Mitchum, who plays a good supporting role in the film. He is also heavily disguised. The only way you know it's Robert Mitchum is because of his voice. He's trying to do some kind of an English accent, as does George C. Scott, who works very hard to sound as English as he can. But Robert Mitchum, I only knew him because of his voice. The disguise really completely covered his face. You also have Tony Curtis, Frank Sinatra, and Burt Lancaster, supposedly all, well, playing cameo roles in the film, very small roles in the film, where they are completely disguised. You can't tell who they are by their faces or by their voices. Now, a little bit of controversy about that particular aspect of the film, that gimmick in the film. Supposedly, only Kirk Douglas and Robert Mitchum and Tony Curtis actually played their roles in the film. What we see at the end of this film when the story is done, Kirk Douglas's voice comes on and says, "That's the end of the picture, but it's not the end." And then all of a sudden you see each one of these big star cameo actors appearing and taking off their makeup, and then showing you the first one is Tony Curtis. I think the next one after that is Robert Mitchum, and then Frank Sinatra. You can see that it's the actor underneath all the makeup. And then the last one is Kirk Douglas, because he was the main star. But some of the controversy is that even Kirk Douglas didn't do all of his acting within the film, and there's one or two scenes, I believe, where you see this person, this heavily made up person, taking off all this stuff, and you see that it's Kirk Douglas underneath. But according to an actor named Jan Merlin, who claimed later that there goes the clock, sorry about that, but enjoy it, it's in the background. This guy named Jan Merlin claimed that he was actually the actor doing the scenes in the film, and that most of it was him, and it was only Kirk Douglas maybe during just parts of it, and definitely at the end during the end credit reveal. But the one that I really found hard to believe was the character supposedly played by Burt Lancaster. In the film, it happens right at the end when the climax of the film is about to happen. There's this very stout middle-aged lady. I'd say she's past middle age, not very attractive. It looked like she might have been attractive 40 years ago, who was out there protesting the fox hunt. And she has a very feminine voice. Supposedly, this is the character that was being played by Burt Lancaster, and I didn't know that until the end when he showed up as this character and then took it all off. Right? And there's Burt Lancaster's big smiling face. I don't believe that at all, because even when he was appearing at the end during the closing credit sequence, it looked like it was a completely different makeup job. So that one, yeah, I don't believe that he was actually doing it. But then it's supposed, according to Wikipedia, this information that it was not all those characters within the film comes from an unreliable source. So it's kind of a little bit of a controversy. If you ever get a chance to see this movie, you can look for yourself and see if you think that these characters are actually the ones appearing in the film. These actors, I should say. One little piece of trivia: there was supposed to be another actor, famous actress in disguise, played by Elizabeth Taylor, and she was all set to do it until she found out that the makeup process of putting it on and taking it off was just going to be laborious and miserable, so she backed out of it. Another thing I didn't realize until I was reading about it in Wikipedia, that John Huston, the director, actually played a cameo in the film at the end, somewhere toward the end, playing a character named Lord Ashton. I completely missed that, so I need to go back and watch some of this again. The only drawback to this particular disc is the fact that there are no scene selections. So a lot of fast forwarding and fast reversing. Let's see, is there anything else I didn't tell you? I don't think so. Well, the character played by George C. Scott, Anthony Guthrie, was the hero in a series of novels by a guy named Philip MacDonald. So I guess I think this was the only one that was filmed. The film was not a success. It cost something like $7 million to make, and it only made about $1.7 million. But interesting film, black and white cinematography, back in the era when major films by major directors with big stars could actually be made in black and white. So yeah, I enjoyed watching it. So I can give you a very sort of a mixed bag of a recommendation for The List of Adrian Messenger. Interesting little mystery, but don't look for a lot of suspense unless you get really excited by fox hunts. Okay? And I don't, so thanks.